Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we've got a really fun video. We're going to be kind of going back down the rabbit hole with the 450 Bushmaster Ruger American. You guys might have saw our initial video. People were wanting us to do a little bit more detailed ammo testing. We had a chance to get some Fort Scott 450 Bushmaster ammo out here. This is a 250 grain copper solid. It's a turn projectile. So we're going to see what it can do out of this 450 Bushmaster American here today. We've got a Leupold Delta Point Pro mounted on this, and this is a Silencer Co. hybrid suppressor. This makes for a really light rifle, easy to carry around, perfect for deer, bear, hogs, really any medium to large game. It can definitely take it down, no problem. Really cool cartridge. So let's have a closer look, have a little bit of fun today. We're going to take out a wide variety of different targets, and let's see what happens. All right, so we're going to get a baseline ballistic shell testing with the Ruger American here in 450 Bushmaster, 250 grain Fort Scott T.U.I. copper. All right, we got two 10% FBI ballistics gel blocks from Clear Ballistics, and then we've got 4 layers of clothing. We've got a t-shirt, flannel, fleece, and denim. All right, let's pop it, see what happens here, get us a baseline test going. Whoa, buddy, it rattled that block. I could see that thing really moving. Let's have a look. All right, guys, one thing that we are learning about big bore projectiles, okay, is that you're gonna have to have some considerable ballistic shell blocks to stop those bad boys. When you get that mass up on the projectile itself, you start getting into a heavier projectile and it's moving at some really fast speeds. The 250 grain T.U.I. in a 450 Bushmaster actually outpowers the 4570 load that they offer in a 300 grain projectile. But the way that the projectile acted in gel is exactly the same as what we saw in the 4570. It entered, obviously, through all 4 of the layers of clothing into the gel block, began to tumble, and in doing so created a massive, crazy temporary cavity in this area right here between the 2 blocks, lifted the blocks up off the table violently, left a really nasty looking permanent cavity, began to continue to tumble, and then created another nasty permanent cavity deeper into the wound channel, and had some very awesome violent exploding effect in there. You can see, like, it almost looks like a little fireball in there. That's because you are displacing all of this material. The energy just has to have somewhere to go, and it just reacts violently inside the wound, which is really, really cool. I would imagine that in a 450 Bushmaster, this load would be great for any North American game, dare I say, that walks on this continent, period. Plenty of penetrating capabilities. You know, obviously 100% weight retention. I wish I had another block, but this is 32 inches of gel. I mean, that's, when you're thinking about that in terms of an animal for hunting purposes. Now, I know we didn't put like rib cage out here. You know, we've done that in some of our previous videos, but that's a tremendous amount of penetration, and I can't picture a game animal walking away from that. Let's move on to some other cool stuff. I think we can do some other neat things as well. Let's do it. Yeah, this 450 Bushmaster, guys, pretty interesting stuff. 250 grain bullet generating actually more energy than the 300 grain 4570 is, oddly enough, which we've also tested. We're gonna shoot it through the Ruger American here. We've got 2 layers of drywall insulation, and then we've got a watermelon soda backer just to see what's going on. Now, I know we may not be able to see the tumbling effect of the projectile, but reasons, right? Let's just do this for fun here. All right, here we go. Well, we got through one of the watermelons. Let's see what happened. Okay, so 250 grain T.U.I. in a 450 Bushmaster. Definitely got plenty of energy, punched through the wall, which we knew that was gonna do through both watermelons. Obviously, we knew it was gonna do that. Went into the first soda, and then, you know, I think coming out of the watermelon and into the first soda, we did start to see some yawing and some deflection of the projectile. When the projectile made it out of the first soda, it just pushed the second soda out of the way. So very different result than we got out of the 4570 when the 300 grain. So even though the 250 technically on paper is generating more energy, the 300 grain bullet has more carrying power to penetrate, intended from what I can see, to yaw a little bit less than the 250 did. When you get something that's a little bit light for caliber and then you start pushing at some faster speeds, the yawing effect should be a little more pronounced, okay? So we definitely saw that with the 450 Bushmaster. Let's move on. All right, we're gonna continue along with the Ruger American here. 250 grain T.U.I. from Fort Scott. 8 pine baffles, a soda, and watermelon backer. What's the worst thing that could happen here? We're gonna launch this 250 grain peel through here. See how the little 450 Bushmaster holds up against a pretty legitimate barrier here. You know, it takes a good bit of force to punch through those boards. Let's give it a try. Wow. I might be a little bit surprised by that result. Let's have a look. Okay, so not an overly surprising result. The 250 gave straight line penetration through all of the boards. Now I'm starting to wish that we would have went with a few more pieces of wood here just to see maybe if it would go through even more. Maybe that's a subject for a future video perhaps. But straight line penetration through all 8 boards, which is pretty crazy because a board like this, all the Army's, the old Army standard calls for is if one of these boards can get penetrated at any distance, it has the potential to cause a lethal wound. This went through 8, all right, so I know we're close, but went through the watermelon, which we knew that was gonna happen, and it obliterated 3 of the sodas, which tells me that it probably went in between the sodas because we had them stacked up in like a quadrant of 4 here, and it obliterated 3 of the sodas and went on down in the Blue Wander downrange. Pretty interesting result. Unfortunately, I can't really tell if the projectile tumbled or not, but it definitely penetrated, got through, caused a lot of damage. So let's move on, think of some other cool stuff to do. All right, continuing on with the Ruger American here. We've got a bunch of jugs of milk here. So let's see what the 250 grain T.U.I. and a 450 Bushmaster does to a boringly regular colloid solution. Here we go. That had some explosive energy there. Okay, let's see what happened. All right, that's a pretty interesting result with the 250 grain T.U.I. out of the 450 Bushmaster. We did a similar test with the 4570 and penetrated the same amount of jugs as a 4570, but the 450 Bushmaster has about 500 foot-pounds of energy more despite having a lighter projectile. It's just a velocity to weight game that we're playing with there. Penetrated 6 jugs. Looked to be relatively straight line, but I don't know. You start looking at some of these jugs and the way they came apart, pretty vicious expansion of energy there. Now, there's a hole in number 7. Look at that. Is the projectile in the jug? It's gonna be a real letdown if it's not. It might have nicked it. No projectile, but it did nick it. So still some energy going down range. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. We hope you enjoyed it. We love testing ammunition. It's so much fun, and we love to check out a lot of this random ammo that's coming out. So thanks so much. We appreciate all of our Patreon supporters. Those of you who purchase man cans to help support the channel, if you purchase merchandise or t-shirts over on the website, all those funds go right back into helping us do what we do. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.